this question here, we're being asked to describe how it would be possible to measure the frequency of waves, and the waves, of course, that are being talked about are the waves that are travelling across the ripple tank shown in the diagram here. And there are 3 marks that are available for this question here. So when we're talking about frequency, frequency is a measure of how many waves are passing a certain point in a second. So there are several things that we would need to include in a good answer, and the first of these is to say we would need to count the number of waves passing a fixed point. So for example, if we were looking at a particular point on the ripple tank, if we had straight waves that were travelling out across the ripple tank, and we would choose a point, and it could be any point along the edge of the ripple tank here, we would decide on what the point was going to be, and at that point we would count the number of waves passing a fixed point. We would also need to measure the time interval that we had been counting the waves for. So for example, we might well have been counting how many waves in 10 seconds or how many waves in 30 seconds. It doesn't matter which, but the important thing is that we've measured the time interval, used for the counting. And then having done that, we will then have a number of waves and we'll have a time interval, and the third stage for the third mark is then to indicate what the calculation is, and the calculation is that we divide the number of waves by the time interval. And what that will do is that will give us the frequency of the waves, and that will be in number of waves per second or hertz.